Michael Shikha Niketan Higher Secondary Government-sponsored co-ed English medium school has taken an excellent initiative of teaching and make our students learn day-to-day lessons through audio and video in our YouTube channel. Teachers of all the subjects are working hard to enhance these online classes in the midst of this pandemic situation. It is a request to all the teachers, students and guardians to click the bell icon and subscribe our channel.
Dear students, how are you? Hope you all are well. So today I am going to start English literature of class 8 and my today's chapter is A King's Tale. Okay, at first I want to tell you one thing that see, in this session I cannot explain you line by line, but I am going to explain the whole chapter briefly with this PPT presentation. And if you go through this summarized portion, if you go through this session very attentively, I promise you that you will never forget this chapter. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's continue the explanation. At first, A King's Tale. A King's Tale, this chapter is adapted from Arthurian legends. Okay, this is actually, that's why you can find in your book, and I hope you have already opened your book. So let's open your book and you can see in Let's Start, you can see that there is no name of any author. Why? You can ask me why? Because usually in every prose poem we find name of the author or name of the poet, but here we don't find the name of the author. Why? Because this is one kind of folk tale or one kind of legends, and this particular prose, A King's Tale, it is taken from Arthurian legends. Okay, it is the adaptation from the ancient Arthurian legends, and this is all about King Arthur. Who is King Arthur? Now look at the picture here. Here is the king whose name was King Uther Pendragon. Okay, Uther Pendragon. You can again ask me, ma'am, you are just telling me about this story is about King Arthur. Yes, definitely this story is about King Arthur and King Arthur's glory. Okay, this story is about the King Arthur's glory and bravery, and it is about hundreds of years ago the King Arthur ruled Britain. And now let's start from the beginning. Here we see the picture of King Uther Pendragon. Uther Pendragon was father of King Arthur. Uther Pendragon, he was very famous and very kind-hearted king of Britain, and he then married. Uther Pendragon had married Lady Igraine. She was very beautiful Lady Igraine. So Uther Pendragon had married Lady Igraine, and then they had a son, and this son was King Arthur. But that time he was not King Arthur. That time he was a very little baby, and they had to voice. Okay. So after the birth of the baby, they had already passed away. Okay, but in their kingdom they had two wise counselors, and their name were Merlin and Sir Ulfius. And when they passed away, King Arthur, when they passed away, King Uther Pendragon and Lady Igraine, then there was a chaos. Okay, because see, if we don't have any guardian, we don't have our prime minister in our country, then a chaos begins. So like this way, as the kingdom, that time the kingdom had no guardian, So the chaos begins, and these wise two counselors, Marlin and Sir Ulfius, they thought, okay, you can, another one thing, Marlin, who was Marlin? Marlin, a prophet and a magician. Marlin, a prophet and a magician, and Sir Ulfius, he was a brave knight. Okay, so here you can see some King Uther Pendragon and Lady Gren, they had a son, but after the birth of the son, they had passed away, and then Marlin and Sir Ulfius, they thought that as they don't have any guardian, so there are many enemies who can think about stealing the baby. So they got a plan. What was the plan? Let's see. Okay, so it was a difficult time. Definitely, without king in kingdom, there was a difficult time. So then what they think? Then the king and queen, after they had died, soon the baby boy was born, and then Sir Marlin and Sir Ulfius, they thought that there was a loyal subject whose name was Sir Ector. He was a loyal subject, okay, and he brought up the baby as his own baby, because they Marlin and Sir Ulfius, they ordered Sir Ector to bring up the baby as their own baby. And another one thing you need to know that they give the order to not always hide the actual identification of this baby. It means they told Sir Ector to no one can know the actual identification of the baby, because if anyone is going to know about, or anyone had known about the baby, that it was the baby of King Uther Pendragon and Lady Gren, then many are the enemies. They tried to snatch the baby, so that's why they told the loyal subject Sir Ector to not open the identification of baby. So it is the all story of unit 1. Let's move on to the unit 2. Okay, now in unit 2 we can find out that we can find out some nice things happens, and these things are like in the home of Sir Ector, Arthur, the son of the late king. So here we see Arthur. You can see in the presentation that here is the name I have mentioned with another color, and Arthur, the name of the baby was Arthur, and now he was not baby, now he becomes a gentleman. Now okay, was spending his boyhood in happiness and safety. As he grew older, he became gentle, strong, handsome and good like his father Uther Pendragon. So Arthur became like his father and was concerned about good of the common people. And actually he was what happened with us always if anyone is belonging a family, then hereditary these babies are carrying the qualities from their parents. So like that Arthur was also carrying the good behavior or good qualities from his father. 18 years passed. So now Arthur becomes 18 years. Okay. So after 18 years, one day everyone wants to know that who becomes the king, and there are many barons in the country, and they were fighting among each other, and they wanted to now they wanted to be the king. So the churchyard or all the people, they thought that now it's time to select the king. So who became the king? Here is the big question. So then they thought to do a great trial. What is a great trial? And this great trial was held in a bright May morning. Upon a bright May morning, a great trial took place in the presence of many people, and there were the peasants, the craftsmen, the merchants, as well as the barons. So, in front of peasants, barons, craftsmen, there was a great trial, and in this great trial, what did they do? There was, it is a very important thing, there was a magnificent sword, okay, and it was Christmas time, a time of festivity, but all around Britain people was hungry, cold and frightened. One day in a churchyard, people found a large stone on which was fixed a magnificent sword. Upon the stone in gold letters was inscribed, "Whoever pulls out this sword is by right of birth the King of England." So, and upon the stone, here is the written form. What was the letters inscribed? "Whoever pulls out this sword is by right of birth the King of England." So immediately everyone eager to pull up the sword, but no one could. Okay, and then the great trial took place, and only King Arthur could pull up the sword, because now remember the line, "Whoever pulls out this sword is by right of birth the King of England." Now, as King Arthur only pulled out the sword, so by birth he became the king. And when he became the king, like his father, he also concerned about the good of the common people. So he also trying to help the wise other person, and Arthur's first duty was to secure peace in England, as because that time many chaos was happening. So Arthur's first duty is to maintain the peace in England, and he was helped by wise Merlin. Who was Merlin? We have just known about Merlin. Merlin was prophet and magician, and by the help of Merlin, Arthur became more wise. Arthur was concerned about the good of the people like his father. So King Arthur also, like his father, he also concerned about the good. King Arthur fought battles so that no one could ill-treat the humblest of his subjects. Okay, he fought many battles for maintaining the peace in the England. So fighting lots of battle, suddenly he lost his own royal sword. So then what happened? So if we lost anything which is very much necessary for us, then we became generally sad. So one day King Arthur had lost his royal sword in a battle. One day Merlin took him to a valley of sweet smelling flowers. So Merlin took King Arthur to a valley with sweet smelling flower. At the edge of the plain there was a deep lake, and in the valley, we all know what is called valley. In geography we have read it. And so in the valley there was a lake, and in this lake a beautiful arm suddenly arose, and in these arms, a beautiful arm with golden bracelets rose from the water. The hand held a sword set with rubies and emeralds. Look at the picture. Here is a sword. So this particular sword is called Excalibur. And you will have your question like who held a sword? A beautiful arm with golden bracelet rose from the water, held a sword set with rubies and emeralds. Excalibur. What is the speciality of this Excalibur? The speciality of Excalibur is, according to Merlin, only an honest and fearless knight who protects the common people can possess this world. Okay, Excalibur, the speciality of Excalibur is who is genuinely honest and who can only protect their subjects, they can have the Excalibur. So not they, actually he. Only he can possess the Excalibur. Okay. King Arthur accepted the enchanted sword. Okay, so see, if I give you any if I am telling you to take any promise, if I am telling you to take any oath, so you need to when you are going to take any oath, you know that I can do this. Okay, like this way, Arthur knows that yes, he will protect all the common people of England, and he also knows that he never does any kind of dishonesty, so he can possess Excalibur. King Arthur could give peace and prosperity to England. So when after becoming the king, England also becomes a peaceful country. So it means Arthur could gift peace. It means Arthur was the winner. It means he was a great king. He was the actual king for the common people who could give peace to the common people. Okay, next he married. Okay, now it's time for Arthur's marriage. King Arthur married the beautiful lady Guinevere. Okay, now a beautiful lady. You will have a question like this: what was the name of Arthur's queen? What was the name? Lady Guinevere. And if your question will be like this: with whom King Arthur married? Lady Guinevere. So when the very special day, on the wedding day, Merlin took him a richly gilded pavilion painted crimson. Crimson means dark red color. Crimson and dark blue. The floor was marbled. In the middle of the room was a huge round oak table. So here we find another thing, another point, round oak table. Round oak table. Round oak table. What is the specialty of round oak table? This is 50 members could sit together. This was the specialty of this round oak table. 50 members can easily sit together in this round oak table. This was the famous round table round which gathered King Arthur's devoted knights. These knights promised that they would help the helpless, be gentle to the weak, and to punish the wicked. When you see, if the king was good, then the other members, all the counselors, all the knights, they have to be good, because they know that if they will do anything wrong, then their king must give them punishment. So that's why they also have to take the oath that they also will never do any kind of mischief, any kind of dishonesty to their country people. These knights promise that they would help to never do any kind of bad things to the people. But not only giving peace, a king's duty is to protect his subjects also, and to protect his subjects, he needs to fight with the wicked. He needs to give the punishment to the wicked, and these barons also take this oath like to keep their oath. The knights undertook countless hazardous adventures, and stories of their goodness and kindness spread throughout the country. And throughout the country, we have known about the stories of King Arthur's knights' great fights. King Arthur ruled for many happy years. So there were many happy years of peacefulness, of happiness, of Now King Arthur grew old with time. So definitely King Arthur became old now. Many of his trusted knights had perished during their adventures. The king gave his magic sword, the Excalibur, to a trusted knight. Okay, one day King Arthur gave his magical sword Excalibur, which we have just seen, to his trusted knight. What will happen after that? At the king's command, the knight threw the sword into the lake amid the plain of the sweet-smelling flowers. Then King Arthur actually commanded his knight to throw this Excalibur to this particular lake, from where he was gifted the Excalibur. A beautiful arm rose from the lake, caught the sword and disappeared into the great depths of water. So this beautiful arm, which we have just read it out, this beautiful arm again rose from this sweet valley and took the Excalibur and then vanished into the sweet valley of flowers. The knight came back and told the king what had happened. Then the knight came to the king and they told the whole story. And now King Arthur could easily understand that what will be going on. What will be going on? It was not a happy ending. Let's see what will be going on. King Arthur smiled because why did he smile? Because he knew that what is going to happen. What will going to happen? And next it was hour of twilight. It was the hour, and now King Arthur King Arthur instructed his knights or his counselors to put him on a birch. King Arthur instructed his people to put on a birch. Why? It was the hour of twilight. It was the hours of twilight. So you can imagine the scenario. It was a very peaceful scenario. It was a very beautiful scenario. And in this beautiful scenario, what is going on or what is going to happen? It was the hour of twilight with tearful eyes. Everyone bade goodbye to the old king. With tearful eyes, everyone bade goodbye to the old king. As the birds sailed with him towards the setting sun, and the birds now sailed with him. It means in the birds, King Arthur was on the birds, and the birds sailed to the setting sun. And you know, when we bid goodbye, the goodbye means we cannot see him after that. That's why they bid goodbye. It means, actually, you know, close means there is something something there is not happening, or something there is omitted, or something we need to know, or we have some question in our mind. In this clause also we have some question in our mind that what happened with King Arthur. If he really gave his last breath, or if he really passed away, if he really went to another country, there is no answer, but there is a question. And this is the story of King Arthur's braveness, and how could he develop the peace, how could he develop the happiness in England after passing away of his father, King Yudhishthira. And that's why the name of the clause is A King's Tale. Who is the actual king? What is the actual definition of king? King is King Arthur, and that's why the name of this clause is King's Tale. And this is all about the explanation of A King's Tale. And now you need to do the activities from this King's Tale, and after to do this assignment, but in your home you need to practice the activities which are related to this course. Thank you very much. Keep watching this video.
Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Subscribe. And do share the video among your friends.